Alright, so not too long ago, I asked you all if you'd like to see me make a top 10 video, and quite a bit of you seem to have wanted one, so here I am today with a list of Pokemon I want to see evolve in Pokemon X and Y. Now remember, this is my top 10 list, so feel free to voice your own opinions in the comments below. As long as you respect my opinion, I'll respect yours. Throughout this video, I will be displaying fan art. I don't own any of this art shown in the video. All of the art used will be linked in the description of the video, and also I'd like to throw in, I've always wanted to do a top 10 video. I just never felt like people would care to see it, and I felt like I didn't really have the right voice for it, really. I'm not sure what it is. I just kind of feel like you need a certain type of voice to be able to make a decent top 10. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this. If you want to see more, definitely, tell me if you want another top 10. This is my first top 10, but it could be my very last one. Just depends on the feedback I get, if you guys like it or not. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, hit that like button. It's appreciated. And let's get into number 10. So number 10 is Beignet. The reason why I think Beignet needs an evolution is basically because of its awesome design. It's far by one of my favorite Pokemon, and its stats aren't that too shabby. And in Gen 3, Beignet and Dusclops are somewhat like rival ghost Pokemon. They had the same total stats reaching 455, but when Gen 4 came around, Dusclops got an evolution while Beignet was given nothing. And I think if Beignet was given an evolution, Dusknoir and whatever Beignet's evolution would be called could be like rivals again, with equal total stats like before. And you can't deny how badass some of this fan art of a Beignet evolution is. So number 9 is Sableye. There's a few arguments to why it shouldn't evolve, but I feel as if the arguments to why it should are a lot stronger, so we'll start with those first. Its overall stats is 380, which is pretty pathetic for a Pokemon that can't evolve, but that is backed up by its typing. Sableye's typing is like Spiritom's. It can be hit with super effective moves, which basically makes him even more of a threat in battle. But Spiritomb has much higher stats than Sableye, so I don't really think it's fair for Sableye to be stuck with horrible stats. But then we do have the idea that if Sableye were to evolve, people could just throw in an Eviolite, and he'd be a lot more harder to take out than he already is. Personally, I don't see why people would use Sableye in competitive battle if he got an evolution, but if they were to, he'd probably be thrown into OU, because OU Pokemon are powerful, so you can just smash right through his Eviolite. So yeah. I believe Sableye should evolve, more so he can get better stats, but I'm sure that he'd get a really cool design too. I mean, some of these fan artworks, I've already got the right idea of what a Sableye evolution should look like. So number 8 on my list is Giraafarig. I've noticed quite a few people would like an evolution to this guy, so here's the thing, let's break this down. If you ask me, Giraafarig was a pretty good Pokemon all the way up till 3rd gen. After that, all these really powerful Pokemon got added, and they just, makes Giraafarig look really weak and unappealing. Not that many people that I know would use it, and I'm sure not really that many people do use it, but especially since it doesn't evolve. Don't get me wrong, its total stats aren't even that bad. 455 overall is pretty decent, but I think it's basically its design I don't like in particular, and I think an evolution would encourage people to use it more because it's more fun, and I don't know, if it evolves, it can become this really good special attacker, and like most psychic types are obviously, but something cool I'd like to see is if they made his evolution partially dark type rather than normal. Maybe they could make Girafarig's tail take over and becomes the main controller of the body or something. I don't know, I just think an evolution would be great for Giraafarig. It would make people want to use it more, and hopefully you agree with me, because Giraafarig could become this really sick Pokemon, and I'd definitely use it if it was partially dark type, because I love dark type and psychic type, but dark type over psychic, and yeah. So number 7 on my list is Absol. Now, like Giraafarig, I don't think it needs an evolution to increase its stats really. It's more its design I'm looking at. He already looks sick as fuck. I love Absol, but I'm really looking for this more awesome looking, mysterious dark type Pokemon. Now, honestly, I just love him to bits, but I feel about him like Giraafarig. He doesn't really appeal to that much people, if you ask me, because he doesn't evolve, and he looks kind of weak, but then really strong at the same time. I don't know what it is. Like Giraafarig, he has a decent total stat of 465, a bit higher than Girafarig's by 10 or something like that. Considering that there aren't many dark types to begin with, I think it would be a smart move to give this guy an evolution. It'd be cool if they gave Absol a pre-evolution and an evolution in 6th gen, just like Roselia, because, I mean, its stats I think are maybe a bit too high for just an evolution. Maybe a pre-evolution would be awesome too. Imagine a little baby Absol. Oh my god, so fucking adorable. I just hope they actually do end up evolving Absol. I love Absol. Please do this. So at number 6 is Quillface. This little guy definitely deserves an evolution. I think it would become a really good water type attacker, which we don't really seem to have much of. I will admit, he doesn't have the worst stats in the world, rising up to 430 overall. So again, this evolution is more based on its design. I love the concept of Quillfish. I'd definitely use him on my team if he were to evolve. He just doesn't look that strong. He doesn't appeal to me at all. He's just kind of like one of those Pokemon that barely anyone uses except from that random fisherman in Pokemon Soul Silver. And I think you get a lot more love, which he does deserve. So he is a good Pokemon, it's just there's nothing that special about him, so an evolution is definitely needed here. Halfway there, coming in at number 5 is Pachirisu. Some of you may be wondering, like, why not Emolga? I didn't know which one to put on the list, so I looked at their stats, and Emolga has slightly better stats, and you know, it's part flying, so it can't really be hit by ground type moves, but then it does have that weakness to ice type, but whatever. Pachirisu has the worst stats, so we're gonna go with the Pachirisu. Anyways, I think Pachirisu isn't really being used to its full potential. It could become this really powerful Pokemon. I mean, in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl or Platinum, you know, why have Pachirisu when you can just have Luxray, basically? I do believe Pachirisu needs an evolution. The sooner the better, if you ask me. Anyways, that's all I really have to say about this one, I guess. I just think it could become this really awesome, like, squirrel electric thing. Oh my god, Pachirisu, please evolve. So coming in at number 4 is Cressola. I'm not sure if anyone saw this one coming, but Cressola, again like Pachirisu, isn't being used to its full potential. I really like his design, and I think it would become this really nice wall for your team, which I know a lot of water types are bulky, but Cressola, you know, has a total stat of 380, which is, again, pretty low for a Pokemon that doesn't evolve. Anyways, all in all, that's really all I have to say about Cressola. I just think an evolution is definitely needed here. It definitely could become this really, really good Pokemon. It needs to evolve. Come on, X and Y. Evolve Cressola for me. Let's go. Before I reveal the third Pokemon on my list, I would just like to say that in the previous Pokemon I spoke about, I may have not have given enough reason to why I think they should evolve. I kind of noticed that what I said is maybe a bit brief, but this is because I don't want to be repeating myself with every reason why, because basically to either up their stats or to make their design more awesome than it already is. I kind of want to keep this video like relatively short, so yeah, let's move on to number 3. So number 3 on my list is Mawile. I believe that Mawile could become this really offensive Steel-type Pokemon, and since we don't have much Steel-type Pokemon, this would be a smart evolution, so they can add more Steel types. It would also be great if it evolved into part Dark-type, since we don't have much Dark types either, and I love Dark-type Pokemon, they're my favourite type. Regardless, I love Mawile so much, but its stats really let it down. With 380 overall, I would never use one on my team, unless it were to evolve, of course. Until then, Mawile, I'm sorry bro, you're just too weak. Okay, so number 2 on my list is a Pokemon that a lot of people probably saw coming. Dunsparce. Dunsparce's unused potential. This is like a Stunfisk situation. You either love him or you hate him. And I feel as if the majority of people hate him. Dunsparce looks all derpy and weak, and I'm not gonna lie, a bunch of people have wanted this guy to evolve for ages. I mean, just look at all this fan art. We need a Dunsparce evolution. I will of course admit he doesn't have the worst stats in the world, rounding up to 415 overall. But seriously, look at this thing. He needs to evolve. Let this man spread his wings and fly. He could become this elegant dragon looking thing. And if all those rumours about a new fairy type in X and Y are correct, Dunsparce looks like he could become a fairy type. Which, if it's true, I could honestly give a shit less as long as they evolve him. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's move on to my number 1 Pokemon I believe should evolve in Pokemon X and Y. Not gonna lie, a lot of people probably expected this from the very beginning. Farfetch. This motherfucker right here, he needs to evolve. Since Gen 1, this fucker hasn't evolved. A Pokemon with way better stats than him has. Alright, hear me out. Farfetch has 352 overall stats. The only thing special about him is that gay-ass stick he holds, which boosts his critical hit ratio. However, Farfetch has little to no competitive potential, so they barely ever get used. I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me when I say Farfetch is in desperate need of an evolution. He could become this badass fighting / flying type Pokemon. He's a wild duck after all. He could look like this badass thing over here. This is how a Farfetch'd evolution should look. He really does need to evolve. I'm sure all of you can agree with me. Maybe not number 1 on your list, but somewhere on your top 10 list you want Farfetch there. I can sense it. I just can't express how much I'd love to have an offensive flying type Pokemon. I mean, I'm sure we have the likes of Staraptor and Honchkrow. I'm sure adding another Pokemon like that wouldn't hurt. I love everything about Farfetch'd except his motherfucking stats. They need to go up. And I think the best way to make his stats go up is by evolving him, really. I mean, how else are they gonna go up? Anyways, thank you for watching my top 10 list of Pokemon I think should evolve in Pokemon X and Y. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, and don't forget to voice your own opinions in the comments below. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe check out my other videos while you're at it. And since this is my first top 10, I'm gonna ask you guys if you want to see more. If you do, be sure to tell me, leave a comment saying, yo, make more top 10s, and yeah. Anyways, I'm out. Until my next video, I will see you later. Peace.
I gotta say I don't know